Yeah, it's that, stepping up to the game, living life prepared, I'm not here for the fame. With a plan in my hand, gotta make it alright. Through the storms and the struggles, I'm ready to fight. Prepare for the worst while I aim for the best. That's unique prepping, we're reaching new heights. Living strong and ready, we're chasing the lights. With courage as armor, we'll conquer the day. Together we rise, we'll fight our own way. Stacking knowledge and skills, I'm building my base. In this world of chaos, I'm finding my space. No fear in the hustle, I'm sharpening my tools. When the world brings the waves, I'm breaking the rules. Stand tall, keep grinding, never lose sight. Yeah, that's unique prepping, we're reaching new heights. Living strong and ready, we're chasing the lights. With courage as armor, we'll conquer the day. Together we rise, we'll find our own way. We'll find our own way. Stand tall, keep grinding, never lose sight. Stacking knowledge and skills, I'm building my base. In this world of chaos, I'm finding my space. No fear in the hustle, I'm sharpening my tools. When the world brings the waves, I'm breaking the rules. Stand tall, keep grinding, never lose sight. Never lose sight. Yeah, stand tall, keep grinding, never lose sight. Lift brick every chain, with Zach in the lead. We'll never feel pain, never feel pain, never feel pain. With Zach in the lead, we'll never feel pain, never feel pain, never feel pain. With Zach in the lead, we'll never feel pain. With Zach in the lead, we'll never feel pain. With Zach in the lead, we'll never feel pain. We'll never feel pain. We'll never feel pain. We'll never feel pain.
Out on the road, or safe at home. Life can turn on a dime when you're on your own. But there's a light, guiding hands acts here to show you how to make a stand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unique Prepping, where innovation meets preparation, and everyone's unique abilities come together to build a stronger, united community. Unique Prepping exists to empower individuals to embrace their unique strengths and abilities while preparing for the challenges of tomorrow. Our channel is about more than just survival, it's about thriving in every aspect of life. We focus on practical prepping, from mastering gardening and sustainable living to honing essential survival skills, fostering a spirit of self-reliance, and building meaningful connections with like-minded individuals who share the same goals. Why unique? Because we believe that everyone, regardless of their circumstances or abilities, has something valuable to contribute to the prepping community. We are here to break down barriers, challenge limitations, and show that preparation is for everyone. This is a space where creativity meets practicality, and where we celebrate the diverse talents and perspectives that make us stronger together. It's not about fitting into a mold. It's about embracing what makes each of us special and leveraging those strengths to overcome challenges. Here, we don't just prepare for the future, we embrace it with open arms and open minds, crafting a lifestyle that values self-reliance, resilience, and the spirit of unity. Whether it's growing our own food, building essential skills, or navigating life's challenges with unique abilities, we're here to show that nothing can hold us back. Our goal is to equip you with the tools, strategies, and confidence needed to tackle life's uncertainties head-on and emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever. In this journey, we strive to empower you with knowledge, inspire you with ideas, and unite us all through a shared mission, to be ready, to be resourceful, and to be resilient. Together, we can face any storm, rise above any obstacle, and shine light on the path forward. Through collaboration and determination, we can create a community where everyone feels valued and supported, where no challenge is too great, and where the bonds we build stand the test of time. So, let's gear up, get creative, and continue this incredible journey of prepping, learning, and growing as a community. This is Unique Prepping, where every step we take is a step towards a brighter and more secure tomorrow. It's more than just a channel, it's a movement, a way of life, and a promise to face the future together. Are you ready? Let's dive in and get started. At Unique Prepping, we're all about building stronger communities and preparing for the unexpected. Now, we're taking our mission even further by partnering with Stolen Spirits, a powerful initiative focused on raising awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Together, we're blending preparedness with advocacy, shining a light on the issues that matter most. Join us as we unite for a cause, inspire change, and build a future where every voice is heard and every life is valued. Unique Prepping and Stolen Spirits, stronger together.
Up, Zach.
Good evening, our prepping community, and welcome to the 26th installment of Unique Prepping's community. On tonight's episode, we will be discussing the morals and values of old, and how we can get them back so today's society. I'm your host, producer and community member Unique Prepping, and with me are my brothers in Christ and best friends Mike. Many of you may know him better as Mayhem and Buff from SICK 2210. How are you doing tonight, brothers?
Glad to not be driving anymore.
I'm
Freaking
I'm doing good, Zach. How you doing, brother?
10.5 hours of traffic and snow. Mayhem, you guys were snow too, didn't you? That
Yep.
time of year.
Yeah.
That's good, and I'm doing good. Thank you for joining me in tonight's discussion. We'll be diving into the principles that once united families, strengthened communities, and laid the foundation for a prosperous society. These timeless values may seem like they're slipping away, but we believe they can be revived, one person and one action at a time. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, we often find ourselves disconnected from the roots of our upbringing and the morals that guided those before us. Values like respect, integrity, faith, and unity are not just abstract concepts, they are the glue that holds societies together. So, how do we rediscover these treasures from the past and make them relevant again in today's world? That's what we'll be exploring in this episode, along with actionable ways to bring these values back into focus. For many of us, the morals of old are not just about nostalgia but about survival, both emotionally and spiritually. The way we treat one another, the way we raise our children, and the way we work together as a community all depend on a shared understanding of what's right and just. By looking back at the lessons of previous generations, we can learn how to reintroduce these principles into our own lives and pass them on to the next. If you've ever wondered how we can restore the faith, respect, and sense of responsibility that seem to be missing in many places today, this episode is for you. We'll discuss how these values once shaped society and how, with effort, we can revive them in meaningful ways. Whether it's by teaching the younger generation, leading by example, or simply holding ourselves accountable, we all have a role to play in this revival. As always, we want this to be a conversation, not just a one-way street. So please, like, subscribe, share, and comment on this video. Your thoughts and ideas are what keep this community strong and growing. We want to hear how you think we can work together to restore these lost values and create a stronger foundation for the future. Also, don't forget to check out our LinkTree to find everything Unique Prepping, from our social media platforms to exclusive content and resources. It's your one-stop hub for staying connected and informed about everything we're doing here. So grab a drink, find a comfortable spot, and let's dive into this important conversation about morals and values. Together, we can learn from the past, take action in the present, and build a better future for generations to come. Do you have anything to add before we get started?
Nope. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good night. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Everybody knows every time I'm up here with Zach, I do that.
Oh,
No, that was a good intro. That was a good intro.
I want to add on to that. Faith and humanity and morals in this world will never be reignited or rediscovered or ever brought back and implemented. So, yeah, have a good night. All right. Great stream. No, this is an interesting topic.
Yeah,
Especially
definitely
I
got me thinking when I got sent the questions. I was like, ooh, I can go on and
yeah,
on. So I made little notes to kind of keep me on track, Zach.
gonna try to remember what I came up with because I find it interesting being back out here. Um, well, me and Mayhem both being truck drivers and me being back out here on the road, and it's not I'm not in that bubble anymore at home.
Mhm.
I'm back out here meeting the country again. So it's just like, oh, these are some good questions. This is some elements I'm trying to implement. So yeah, it's a good topic.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's a really good topic, and you're right, Buff. I think if you're not out amongst people, you kind of get trapped in that bubble, and you really kind of think of the worst of humanity and all that. But once you actually get out there, like you and I have, you do see the bad about humanity, and you see the good. You know, and we
Yeah,
get caught up. A lot of times, we get caught up too much in just the negativity, and it's whether it's media influence or social media influence. And when I say media influence, I meant like mainstream media influence. You know, we get caught up in that, and that's all we see. So we think the worst, but um, that's just scratching the surface of it. When you dig deeper, for every like one bad cop video that you see, there's probably about 5 or 6 of a good cop doing something that you won't ever see. You have to kind of dig for it, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Question number 1. What are some values or traditions from the past that you believe we should reintroduce into modern society?
You want me to go first, Buff, or you? Oh, Zach. Sorry, Zach. You can spank me later. Go on, Buff. Zach wants you to go first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about the greatest one? Respect for your elders. Um, it seems like that's changed a little bit, though. Kind of, sort of, not really, but to get respect, you need to give respect. And I can understand a younger generation not respecting the elder that is not really trying to show them respect and they're doing nothing wrong, but just the natural act of that's how to meet a random stranger, like with this trucking stuff, man. And of course, meeting guys, I've met guys all the time, old school truckers, older guys, and you know, they don't sit there and talk crap. They might mess with you, joke with you, fun with you, but I'm sure I do show them the respect they deserve because they've been out there doing this longer than I have. They can tell me stories of things and incidences I might interact with and cure with, and be like, well, we used to do it this way. Here's an old school trick. You can try this and that, da 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 da. I'm definitely showing these guys respect. Something that boils down into the household, though. That's really one of those kind of person to person things of what they're getting out of their parents and family members. Unless the parents and what are elders in the family are just being complete pieces of crap to them, then okay, maybe you don't. Yeah, you got every right not to show them any respect. If they're not going to treat you like a human being, but you got to respect the ones out there that deserve it, because you never know what you're going to learn. Um,
Hmm.
that's my main one. Yeah, reintroduce that back into simple courteousness.
Hmm.
Hold the door open.
Yeah.
That's another one that's kind of flip floppy, going off the wayside, because you know it used to be back in the day. Yeah, you hold a door for somebody, especially a woman. I was like, oh, thank you so much. Da, 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 da. Nowadays, it's hold a door open for a woman. And it was like, I can open my own door. Thank you very much. I'm not a woman that needs to be handheld and don't mansplain a door to me. It was like, oh, you know what? Just walk away. You gotta know when to walk away. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, shit, I'm not even gonna engage with you. It's just like, courtesy. Simple courtesy. Um, Mayhem was talking about the situation we were talking earlier. Maybe you'll talk about it at
Yeah.
the guy that got stuck.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like that. I like that question that you asked that because, like, honestly, going through the motions, I forgot what some of the values and traditions that we had originally. So I kind of did a little bit of research, and I was perplexed of what I found. Um, you know, because I was born in '84, so majority of what I remember is from the '90s, and in my research, the values and traditions that we used to have in the '90s used to be like patriotism, faith, family, and community, right? Back in the '90s, the importance of patriotism was about 70%. In 2023, it dropped down to 38%. That was important in America. Faith in the '90s was at 62% of importance. Now, in 2023, and it's probably lower now. Um, it was 39%. Family in the '90s was at 59% interest. Now, in 2023, it dropped all the way to 30% interest. The community was at 47% in the '90s, and now it's at 27% interest. The one thing that changed, though, and I actually watched a little bit of a news segment about it, was money. In the '90s, the importance of it was about 31%, and it jumped up in 2023 to 43%. Now, one of the guys on the news segment said that um, the difference is without money, you can't really focus on patriotism. You can't really focus on family. Can't really focus on faith. Can't really focus on community because you're now in this economy. You're actually working multiple jobs, so you don't have that time. And that, to me, I really disagreed with what the guy said because, you know, you have to set aside that time. That's something that we don't get back. Chasing that American dream, uh, focus so much on money and valuable things. I know one of my favorite Christian bands has a song. They're called Casting Crowns, and they have a song called American Dream. And if you listen to the song, this guy was so focused on, getting that Porsche, getting that house, everything, that he was pushing his son away inadvertently. He was pushing his son away. He was pushing his wife away. And eventually, at the end of the song, his wife had left him, and she took the child. And there's a verse that says, "All they really wanted was you." So, as men and women nowadays, we're focused so much on that material stuff that we're not focused on, the things such as patriotism. We're not so focused on our faith anymore, our family and our community. And um, the the thing that really changed in my mind too is that language has changed, because we've seen it all. We've all seen it. The word patriotism for one person is different for another person. You know, the word faith to one person is different to another person. The word family and community is different to each individual, and that, I believe, is what by design is by an outside influence. You know, and because we've seen it, um, you know, we've heard the word patriot. Now, there are some people that believe patriot are these racist, egotistical people. And me, and I know Zach, and probably Buff too, patriot to us is somebody that loves this country so much that they would be willing to sacrifice their life for this country. They would they would bleed on the flag just to keep the stripes red, kind of thing. What is faith? Faith doesn't mean just Christianity. It's any belief in a higher power other than yourself. So if you're a Christian, you believe in Christ. If you're a Jew, you just believe in God. Um, and family has been torn apart. So those are the traditions that I wish we would come back to. And the only way that we can come back to that, and it's a hard road that we're going to be on, but we just have to fight. We have to hold on to that patriotism. We have to hold on to that nuclear family. We have to hold on to our faith, no matter what anybody says or tries to influence you. And community. And like Buff was saying earlier, because I was telling him about it, community is in a situation, not thinking of just yourself. When I arrived at a truck stop, there was on Sunday there was a snowstorm. It was an Arctic storm. Now, I personally could have just ignored this guy that got stuck, but I got out and I said, I'm not really in a rush. I'm going about 29 miles per hour. I'm pretty much the only one on the road because I'm a dummy, but he got stuck and he was trying his best all by himself. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get out and I'm going to help him. And I couldn't help him because he didn't have tow hooks. If he had tow hooks on his bumper, I would have been able to throw my chain onto the DOT bumper, throw it onto his tow hooks, and pulled him out, because all he needed was an area to get some traction so he could go in. And it was kind of, it helped me out at the same time, because if I hadn't stopped and helped this guy, I would have went into this truck stop, but I wouldn't have been able to come out because everybody was double stacked and everything. But because of that decision to help this guy out, and even though I was unsuccesssul helping him out, he was able to help me out, because when I finally got back in the truck, I looked up ahead, and it was 2 trucks deep going around into the entrance, and I saw a Warner truck trying to get out, and he couldn't make that turn. So he was stuck. Nobody could get in. And I was like, okay, yep, I don't really need to go to the bathroom that bad, but I'm going to go ahead and turn around right here. So it saved me. So you never really know what's going to happen when you just stop and help another person. And I understand why it's kind of changed a little bit, because we have heard stories of, there's somebody stranded on the side of the road, and for whatever reason, this person is crazy and they end up killing this person. So now people are scared to get out and help somebody and be a good Samaritan. But sometimes we have to look past that. And, I'm not saying you can't, just all nilly-willy going out there and helping somebody, but you got to be careful when you do it. But do that. bring back to the community. So we need to fight for that to come back.
That's a respect your elder moment I had, kind of like that. Back in my home city, at a red light, where this guy pulled out of a gas station and spilled some lumber off his trailer. And I hopped out. Whatever, I used my truck to block the back of his. I hopped out, helped him stack his lumber back on his trailer, man. He was an older guy. He was so grateful. And dude gave me $40. And I was like, man, you don't have to do that. He was like, no, no, no. You stopped, nobody else did. You good young man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that $40 went right in my gas tank. I'm like, yeah, community.
Yeah.
God needed help. I helped him.
Yeah. Oh, Zach's got something. What you got, Zach?
For me, to bounce off you, Mike, money shouldn't be the top priority. See, I know we have bills and stuff, but that's why we are divided in the country. We are put into boxes and it's sad. We are divided, and we must unite.
Yeah, and all it takes is breaking out of that box, like a good deed. Like I remember years ago I was in Colorado, your area, Zach. not around your area, but well, it might have been. I don't know. But it was a winter years ago, and at that time I had my fiance with me. And she was riding in the truck with me, and it was a blizzard, like bad. It was dark, blizzard, and of course I was going about 29 miles per hour, and there was a car stuck in a snow bank, right? And I came to a stop, and it was a poor lady. The wind had pushed her into the ditch, and I got out and I tried to help her out because I carry a winter kit with me. It's got kitty litter in it. It's got a shovel in it. It's got warm blankets, and whatnot, some food, some water. And so I got out there and it was blistering cold. And I told her, I said, hey, look, just, it's cold out because her car was off. I said, it's cold out. Go ahead. Go up there with my fiance in the truck and stay warm, and I was out there trying to dig her out, and it was kind of the same situation, like Buff. There was nobody out there, nobody. This woman, she had the ability to call for a tow truck, and yes, eventually a sheriff deputy came out, and he kind of did the same thing. He let her sit in his truck or SUV, and he was like, yeah, we're going to wait for the tow truck, because I was not able to get it out. Me and him tried to push it out and whatnot, and he was like, well, you got to get going, so she'll be all right, but it was kind of the right place, right time. And I knew that she was probably scared because, like some people hear bad things about truck drivers, I guess. I don't know. But it was lucky for me to have a woman on the truck with me to let her know it was going to be okay, and I stayed outside in the blistering cold because I didn't want that woman to feel uncomfortable. But that's how you got to do your thinking when you're helping other people, and I agree with what Buff said about respecting elders. Like when I was in the military, um, I made it to E5, right, which is a sergeant, and I was in charge of at least 12 soldiers. And the new recruits that came in, some of the ways that they talked to me, I was like, wow, this is unacceptable. But there was really not much I could do. Back when I first joined, if I talked the way I talked to, or if I talked the way they talked to me as a sergeant, we would have done what was known as wall-to-wall counseling. they would have locked me in a room with that sergeant, and me and him would have thrown hands, and he probably would have whooped my butt, you know. And it's a change in it's crazy what the change is. It has to be about like the whole participation trophy. Oh, I care about your feelings. When back in the day, nobody cared about my feelings, so why should I care about your feelings, right? So it's a struggle. It's going to be a fight. Yeah, you're good, Zach. Sorry.
Values and traditions from the past that we should reintroduce into modern society hold the potential to restore unity, strength, and balance in our lives. Marriage before children was once a cornerstone of family life. It created a sense of stability, commitment, and shared responsibility between two people who vowed to build a life together. The foundation of a family built within marriage offered children a secure environment where both parents could provide emotional and financial support. This tradition encouraged couples to focus on their partnership before bringing children into the world, helping to create a solid framework for raising the next generation. Sitting down together at the dinner table without the distraction of electronics was once a daily practice in many households. It was a time for families to reconnect, share their experiences, and strengthen their bonds. This practice fostered communication and taught children the importance of being present in the moment. Without the constant interruption of phones, tablets, or TVs, families were able to focus on one another, creating memories that lasted a lifetime. It was not just about the food but about the intentional act of coming together as a family. Communities once thrived on interdependence rather than reliance on large corporations. Local farmers provided fresh produce, local craftsmen created essential goods, and neighbors traded services and skills. This way of living allowed communities to sustain themselves while fostering trust and cooperation among members. Dependence on each other brought people closer together and reinforced the idea that everyone played a role in the success of the community. The rise of mass consumerism has eroded this tradition, but returning to community-based living could restore a sense of purpose and belonging. Self-reliance within communities was another value that defined life in the past. People grew their own food, repaired their own belongings, and learned skills to sustain themselves. This not only reduced waste but also cultivated a sense of pride and accomplishment. Knowing how to solve problems and meet basic needs created resilience and resourcefulness. This tradition taught individuals to appreciate what they had while instilling a sense of gratitude for their hard work. The lessons of self-reliance can inspire us to move away from overdependence on outside systems. Respect for elders was a deeply ingrained value in the past. Elders were seen as the keepers of wisdom and life experience, and their guidance was highly respected. They played a central role in teaching younger generations about history, traditions, and values. In many modern societies, this respect has diminished, leaving a gap in the transfer of knowledge between generations. Reintroducing this tradition would not only honor the contributions of older members of the community but also provide valuable life lessons to the younger generation. Faith and spiritual practices were integral parts of daily life. These practices provided individuals with a sense of purpose and connection to something greater than themselves. They guided moral decisions and encouraged acts of kindness, charity, and forgiveness. Faith created a shared set of principles that united communities and inspired individuals to lead meaningful lives. In a world often defined by materialism and individualism, the revival of spiritual values could bring back a sense of harmony and compassion. Courting as a form of intentional relationship building was a value that emphasized patience and respect in romantic relationships. Instead of rushing into commitments, couples took the time to truly get to know each other and build a strong foundation for the future. Courting focused on the emotional and spiritual aspects of a relationship rather than purely physical attraction. This practice helped individuals make thoughtful decisions about their partners and contributed to more enduring relationships. Teaching practical life skills at an early age was another tradition that equipped young people for adulthood. Children learned how to cook, sew, garden, and repair items, giving them the tools to be self-sufficient. These skills not only prepared them for the future but also fostered a sense of responsibility and confidence. Passing down these skills within families and communities created a cycle of knowledge and empowerment. In today's fast-paced, convenience-driven society, reintroducing these skills could help individuals regain control over their lives and reduce dependence on external systems. UP out.
Oh, you went so many places there with that one. Two of those I want to hit that just what you were just saying there kind of earlier in that the whole it takes a village to raise a child. Uh, we've kind of gotten away from that mindset in the sense of what Mayhem mentioned about we being separated as people. You thank the media for that, and the people that are getting sucked into the brainwashing of the media and like, you should look at this person. They say they're a patriot and they love the American flag. They fly it in front of their house. Well, that just means they're a white supremacist. I was like, where did you equate that from? But so we get that separation, and therefore that village is separated and destroyed. And I know back in the day, back in the 80s and stuff, as a kid, yeah, if I acted up in front of somebody that's a friend of my mom, good friend of my mom, that person could whoop my butt and keep me in line. But also, that same person would invite me into their home and treat me like their own child and teach me stuff like how to cook, how to do this, maybe just repair a small radio. It's just all kinds of skills are being transferred over through that village to the younger generation. And we can't have that anymore because you voted for Trump. I remember when that didn't used to mean anything back in the day. It was like, oh, you voted that way. Well, we can no longer talk to each other. And it was just like, oh, you voted for him? Yeah. Oh, why? Well, yeah, I like what he said here. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I like what this other guy said. Oh, okay. Cool. You want to go grab a beer? Yeah. Like I miss those
Yeah.
days. Um, they're gone. Thank you, media. Thank you, mainstream media. Um, it's that separation that's destroying the village that is hindering us from bringing up the younger generation properly. A tradition that's gone, shall they say? Yeah, I agree with everything both of you
Yeah.
just said. I really do. And that thing about the that skepticism and fear and questionability about truckers and stuff like that. Yeah, I've definitely seen it. Definitely seen it. Um, Funniest incident I had, I was somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Illinois, and there was a mom and pop restaurant. I stopped there because they had a big lot that I could actually stop in, get something to eat. And I go in there, and there's like a couple old white cats sitting there at the counter, and be like, hell, there's another one of them. Like, I'm just ignoring them. Like, always coming through here, making all your loud noise, thinking you own the place, just being unruly and da da da. And it's like I'm ignoring him. I'm like, oh right, this dude is racist as hell. And finally, I was just like, dude, what? What? You got a problem with me because I'm black? And he's just like, no, and like taps his buddy. I was talking about you being a truck driver, and they just all started laughing. And he's like, come sit down with us. Da 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 da. They bought my meal. They bought my meal. It was like a small little town. He was just having fun. He was like, he does this to every trucker that stops in here when he's here. I was just like, oh, man. I was like, man, I'm 78 years old. I'm trying to enjoy my days. And I was like, I get that. I feel you, man. You're just having a laugh.
Yeah.
But we've gotten away
Yeah.
from that to where any other guy, probably black being in there, probably would have went in there and shot the place up. But it's like, hold on, let me get a grasp of the situation. We can go from there. That dude's just having a laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And but that points to get to this point to where there is some respect still out there. There's a tradition of just respect, especially amongst us, because it seems we're losing it, which used to be a tradition. Four wheels respect the hell out of truck drivers, and it seems like that's dwindling away. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it had to be about 2016, maybe. I forget where. Oh man, I forget the exact year, but it was like somewhere down in Dallas area, around there. Bad snowstorm hit that area, and it was just like snow in Texas. What is this madness? What is this sorcery? And like I was sitting at a shipper, and I asked him if I could stay there for the night, and it was like, yeah, just go park over there. And I knew it was raining, and I could hear it hitting the roof, and then like the rain stopped. I was just like, it's too quiet out there. I look out, it's snowing now. I was like, huh. But get up the next day, there's snow. And I'm trying to get away from there and get back on I-35, and there's a long ramp I had to go up. And that was heavy. I tried going up this ramp, or I started at the bottom, and I was just like looking at the ramp to get it back on the interstate. And there's like two guys with pickup trucks just hanging out. I was like, huh, think nothing about them. So I started trying to make my way up that ramp. And halfway up, I could feel I was losing traction. So I tried to work my way over to the rumble strips. I was like, maybe I can catch that rumble strip and get some traction. Nope, stop. I was like, son of a. These two guys came running down there and was like, you stuck? And I was like, no, I'm going to sleep here for the night. It's just having fun. I was like, well, man, we'll try to pull you out. How heavy are you? And I was like, really? These guys daisy chained. They both had like big Chevy four-wheel drive pickup trucks. They daisy chained their trucks together and threw their chain against around my deer guard. They pulled me up that ramp. Community. It was just
Yeah.
like, wow. And like when we got up to the top, it was like, yeah, man, this snow kind of came out of nowhere. So we know this is a trouble ramp, or as steep as it was. So they just like they said they just been kind of sitting there going around the different steep ramps they could find and pulling people out. Just wasting the day, doing good deeds. I was like, I'm so glad you guys were here. Because I would have to call a wrecker. And they probably wouldn't have been able to get me up there. We're losing the kindness and caringness and help a brother out.
Mm-hmm.
One of my slogans. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Help a brother out.
Question number 2. How do you personally practice respect and integrity in your daily life? And how do you encourage others to do the same?
I think everything we just said.
Is that all? That's it? That's all you got to say, Buck?
Well, I guess I can get a little deeper than that.
Yeah. Dive deeper, brother.
I don't practice it. I tell you what, I practice it really by showing restraint. Because, during this long period of this long vacation I just had, I wasn't really going around being an a-hole to people. I was calmer, I was cooler, and now I've been thrown back to the wolves, and it's like, let's keep that cool, let's keep that calm. Let's not. Dude, last time I was in a continuous run of driving a truck. Well, January, I hated everybody, and I was like, I gotta get out of that mindset. It might be a link to one of my health problems I got, just stress. So I just try not to let things stress you out. And plus, I'm back in a familiar situation that I started in. Uh, I don't know how many times a day I've been in a situation. I'm just like, yep, welcome back. Welcome back to dealing with this again. Whether it be snow or guys just getting fuel and leaving their truck at the pump and go inside and there's nobody in front of them. It's like pull forward. Now just go inside. And I'm like, dude, I'm waiting for the. Because I watched you get fuel. You can pull forward. Guys that park on the scale is just like, welcome back. All this is still going on, you know. Little things as simple as have a big parking lot. This happened to me last week. Yeah, big parking lot. Find a nice spot that's got like a few empty spots next to you, and some jackwagon decides, oh, instead of just maybe having a space in between us, got to park right next to me. I'm like, dude, there's like 5 empty spots there, 4 there. Why do you got to park right next to me? I mean, it's not you parking there being a problem. It's the simple fact that you could have messed up and hit my truck trying to go out of your way to park right next to me. And what I see out of a lot of those people is they don't know how to back into just lines. They need a solid object that's 13 foot 6 tall to use as a reference guide. And it's just like, you do not need to be driving. And it's little stuff like that. I'm trying to stress less about. It's just like, welcome back. Here we are. But I don't get out and say anything. You know, I'll give him a mean look, or not even directly a mean look. But yeah, I'll murmur some profanities underneath my breath. But I'm not going to get it, jump out and just like, what the? Because I'm going to show some
Right.
restraint and show some respect because we are in the same boat. Technically, in a sense, I don't know what you do, where you go, but we're both out here delivering America. So every truck driver gets that initial baseline of respect. You get the default setting of respect. It's until you tick me off, then I lose it. Great sign of respect today because I got my new CB and everything. It was coming up through Nashville, and got to a part right before the headache of Nashville where this I think it was like 840 merges on with 65, and I could see this guy in a long-nosed Pete grain hopper trying to, they're coming up on 2 lanes, and then one lane ends, and then his lane's going to end, and he's trying to get in. He's trying his best, da 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 da, and I could see his antennas, and I hit him up, and I told him, "Yo, jump behind me, or jump in front of me. Come jump in front of me," and I called my truck out. So I slowed down. He came up, and as he's coming by, he hit the horn. Like, thank you, thank you. Got on the CB. He was like, thanks, bro. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. So much appreciate. I never would have gotten there. And I'm like, hey, man, it's respect. It's respect. I'm definitely going to show you some respect if you're driving. That's kind of prejudiced and stereotypical. If you're driving an old school Pete long nose 379 or something, that don't mean you're the greatest truck driver. But I will show you a little respect before I show some of these fiberglass pieces of before, because you don't look like a new butt in a seat. I don't know how to explain that to the audience fully. It's a trucker thing. Mayhem knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. What's up, John?
But just showing respect out there, and the whole conversation most of the day today. Like when I first had a CB years ago, I probably ran that thing for about months, and then I threw it out the window because there's nobody respecting the airwaves. People are just on there, just N-word this, N-word that, singing and just whatever, talking about nothing. All the way up 65. That was probably 90% conversation of guys actually giving call outs, traffic reports, weather reports, police reports. Da, 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 da. Of course, you had a couple guys, about a good 10% on there. Somebody do a little singing, but they weren't hogging air. And it seemed like a whole different channel since the last time I've had one. It's where I think the older heads and more experienced guys are realizing that these seat fillers aren't really using CBs, and kind of got the airwaves back. That's what it felt like today. So guys are showing respect to each other. And, you know, a little vagrant here and there, but everybody was having fun. Everybody was having fun. Respect. And like them practicing that, I practiced it right back. No, I'm not gonna get on here and say, well, I never did anything like that. I'm trying to give updates and whatever I can, whoever can hear it. Yo, this is what's going on. This is where I'm at. This is what's going on. There's this guy here. There's this guy here. Da 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 da. Watch out. We got brake lights at this mile marker. Da 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 da. That's how I personally practice this stuff right now. I don't kill anybody. I put it in layman's terms. I'm getting worked up now. How do you encourage others to do the same? Probably by practicing it in a sense, in a way to say it. Practice it loudly to show how you do it. Put it in their face to show how respectful you're being to somebody. Make sure they're there to see it. Maybe it'll rub off on them. But yeah, encouraged by action, not by words. Because you say, well, "Hey, you should hold that door open for that lady." And the guy's like, "F you," and it was like, now we got a whole thing going on. It's just like, maybe I'll give you a look, just a glance, because you didn't hold the door open for somebody. Da 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 da. Da. But yeah, yeah,
Well, that was pretty good.
rant
Pretty
over.
good. Well, rant finally over. Okay, so how do I personally practice respect and integrity in my daily life? Um, I just choose to treat others as I wish to be treated. You know, because the easiest way for me to do that is I don't look at somebody as a stranger in a sense. I'll look at somebody as if they were my own sister, or they're my own brother, or they're my mom, or my dad, my grandma, grandpa, so on and so forth. You know, so um, sometimes that's a little bit easier said than done. But um, once you start doing that and making that cycle, it makes it a little bit easier to do. And integrity for me is always doing the right thing when nobody is watching. You know, there are some people that will claim that they have integrity, but they make sure that there's somebody around to see them do this kind act and treat this person with respect and caring manner. And that's not how you should do it. Like nobody should be around. And even if there is nobody around, there is somebody watching you. You know, God's always watching you. And in the Bible, it says the least that you do unto others, or what you do unto others, is the least you do unto me. You know, so I always, you know, if I can't see my mom or dad or any relative of mine in this person, I at least try to see him as like Jesus would. Um,
Let me
and
say this
it,
right
it,
quick. Let me say this right
yeah.
quick before it gets too far up chat. Serena Norrell, um, that's our word. We can say it all we want. Don't you watch the news? Um, have you seen my movies? Um, I will call a coffee maker the N word, all right? But I kind of understand what you're saying. I kind of understand. I shouldn't be mad when somebody who's not black says it and they don't mean it in a racist way. But yeah, that's our word. If you get your black card, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Sorry, man.
No,
That's not a comment
it's all
I had
right.
to respond.
It's all right. So a good example. Well, I'll get into the example after I finish a little bit of this. Basically, you're just the way that I would say you're how was how do you encourage others to do the same? You have to actually set the example, um, you know, there are people paying attention, you know, um, you have to be the example for your kids. You have to be the example for everybody else around you too. Like you, and you never know exactly how that person day, their day could be a lot worse. And a lot of times, I think people are pretty selfish. They're self centered because you could be going through a crappy day yourself. But, there's always somebody out there that's gonna have a crappier day than you. But you don't know that. And I tend to I have crappy days, but I put on a smile when I come face to face with cashiers at the truck stop, or I come face to face with other drivers. I'll look at them, I'll make eye contact, and I'll smile at them and I'll say, "Hey, good morning or good evening," um, opening doors for them, not just for women, but for men too. Uh, and usually a lot of them are very grateful, or if you see somebody is carrying a bunch of stuff on their way out, you open the door, hold the door open for them, you know, and that's setting the example for anybody that may be around you. And one of the things I did a long time ago, actually, it was before my first daughter was born. It was actually 2 years before my first daughter was born. I was an a-hole. I was disrespectful to people. I had my own internal issues. And one day I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do one good deed a day. I set that mentally, and I said, I'm going to go out of my way to do one good deed for somebody that I don't know, right? And so I was looking for those one good deeds. And after a while, it became so repetitive that it got to a point where I didn't even think about it anymore. I just saw somebody in need and I helped them do it, right? And so that's one way that you could do it. One way you could do it. And when I say set the example, is uh, there's several examples I have where I did something, that one good deed, and I noticed afterwards others followed. One thing that happened was there was this old lady at a Walmart, and I guess she had been cashing this check at Walmart for years, and they never, uh, they gave her the full check, but I don't know if Walmart changed their policy or what it is. But I'm looking at this lady across from me, and I could hear her, old lady. She was like 80, 90 years old, and she was arguing about $3 because Walmart had a policy or something that they had to charge her $3, and it was a big deal for her, right? And I don't know if it was God intervening or not, but I paid my cashier with cash, and the amount that was given back to me was exactly $3. $3, right? I took that $3. I walked up to the lady and I said, "Here you go, ma'am. Here's your $3 that you need." And she kind of looked at me all confused. And there was a Walmart manager there, looked at me all confused, like, "Who are you?" Because I wasn't wearing Walmart clothing or anything like that. And I said, "Here you go. You need this. God bless you." And I walked out and I solved the issue that, and in my mind, I was thinking Walmart should do better because, like we were talking about earlier, respect your elders. Why would Walmart, why can't they the manager is right there, just waive the fee? Obviously, she needs this $3. But the whole time I was hearing this conversation, I just thought, what if that was my grandmother? You know, when you actually you do that and you think of somebody as your own grandmother, father, mother, whatever the case may be, you actually start to um, personify that person, right? They're not a stranger. They're more of, you know, because you would want somebody to do that same thing to your grandmother, you know. You would want to do that for your grandmother, so why not personify with that person and do that, and say, hey, she's fighting really hard for this $3. There's a reason why. Humanize this woman and just waive the fee. And then as I'm loading the groceries into the car, you know, of course I had my girlfriend at the time and she had crazy hair, and I just got off of work, so my clothes were all dirty. And the lady, I didn't even pay attention to the lady that was behind me, right? And that lady, after she paid her stuff, she came out and she looked for us and she said, "Hey, you, I just have to say, that is the nicest thing I have ever seen anybody do." And and she was like, you might have people look at your hair and think you're kind of weird, and you might have people judge you by the way that your clothes look. Obviously, you're a hard worker, but that is the sweetest thing I've ever seen anybody do. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I didn't know what to do. I didn't do it for the recognition. I saw my grandmother in that, and the setting the example came into play, not on that story, but I was in Milwaukee, and at a light there was a beggar. Okay, and now there's a lot of people that are like, I would never give any money to this kind of person, because they're going to use it for drugs. That is being judgmental, and that that kind of is a wall, a barrier that you are putting up. You are making an excuse. Any kind deed that you could do towards this person, once money has changed from your hands to theirs, or whatever you do, that whatever they do after that, that's between them and God. God sees you do a good deed, right? What if that guy was my brother? You know, so I didn't have any cash on me, but it was a hot day, and I have a refrigerator over here, and I grabbed one of my cold waters, right? And I said, "Here you go. I'm sorry, that's all I got to give." And he was like, "Thank you, brother. Thank you." He opened it up. He started chugging it right there. And as I'm slow, the light turns green, and I'm slowly making that left turn. I'm looking in the side mirror because, one, to make sure that my tandems don't hit the guy and the trailer doesn't hit the guy. But
Better get out the way.
I'm checking on the guy, right? And I'm seeing the cars that were behind me took the time to stop at the light where the guy was, and they handed him something. Every single car behind me. Why? Because they saw me do a good deed, do something towards a fellow man, and they wanted to follow suit. I don't know what they gave him, but it was an inspiration to me. And I said, you know what? One good deed, it is like that ripple effect. You drop a pebble in a pond, and you're just going to have that ripple effect. So that's how you set the example, and that's how you start to change people's hearts and minds.
Dude, that's so
And that's
I
all I got to
don't
say
know.
about that.
I understand that principle because I have watched one of these guys on the ramps. Like came up. I was doing local, and I'd see him one time. He was up there on the ramp, da 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 da. And I came back through that same way later that day. I watched this guy while sitting at the red light walk over to this empty lot where there used to be a Burger King, but he parked his car over there. Jumped into a freaking Volvo, man. Nice Volvo. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like,
Mm-hmm.
So that was real early, and I made it a point to where it's like you, I don't want to judge you, but don't just sit there and with a sign that says need help. You got a creative sign, you got it. I saw a guy doing magic at the end of a ramp in
Yeah.
Atlanta. He was
Uh, I,
good. I sat
I,
there
saw,
and
I,
watched
saw,
him for about 2 minutes.
I, I saw a guy with a sign that I had to give him $5. I had to give him $5 because he said on his sign it said, "Ninjas kidnapped my wife and dog. Need money for jiu-jitsu lessons to get dog back." And just on
You got it.
principle, I was like, "Hey man, here you go. Here's $5 for having that creativity."
Just the
And he,
dog.
yeah, he just wanted the dog back.
You got it. You
Yeah, you got
got
it,
it.
dude. Here's $5.
Yo, this dude had like a pack. He had like a pack or two or whatever of equate whatever that fake sugar stuff.
Hmm.
And he did the trick. He shows his hand. He shows the packages. He pours a little bit out to show there's something in the package. He put it in his hand, and boom, and opened his hand, and nothing was there. I was like, oh yeah, $20. Yeah,
Yeah.
here, here, you take this now.
Well, that's no
Come back
longer
through.
a beggar. That's a street performer.
But he worked for
Yeah,
it.
he worked for it.
Like, dude, you need to be somewhere doing this stuff on stage. I mean, that's good.
Mhm.
That's good. I still don't know how that trick is done, but that's good.
Yeah. All right, Zach. What do you got for us to answer this question? I
Respect
do.
and integrity are core principles that guide my daily life. I make a conscious effort to treat everyone I encounter with kindness and fairness, regardless of their background, beliefs, or opinions. I believe that showing respect begins with listening. I take the time to hear people out, understand their perspectives, and validate their experiences. This simple act of listening fosters mutual respect and lays the groundwork for meaningful connections. Integrity, for me, means staying true to my word and my values. I make it a point to follow through on my promises, no matter how big or small. When faced with decisions, I ask myself if my actions align with the principles I hold dear. I take accountability for my mistakes and use them as opportunities to grow. By doing this, I aim to lead by example and build trust with those around me. I also prioritize respect and integrity in my relationships. Whether it's family, friends, or co-workers, I approach each interaction with honesty and sincerity. I avoid speaking negatively about others behind their backs and address conflicts directly when they arise. By fostering open and honest communication, I create a safe environment where everyone feels valued and respected. Encouraging others to practice respect and integrity begins with modeling these behaviors. I actively recognize and praise others when they demonstrate acts of kindness or honesty. I believe in empowering others by highlighting the positive impact of their actions. By acknowledging and celebrating these moments, I inspire them to continue embodying these values in their own lives. I also engage in conversations about respect and integrity whenever the opportunity arises. I share stories, personal experiences, and lessons I've learned that emphasize the importance of these principles. Through dialogue, I encourage others to reflect on their own actions and how they can align more closely with the values they aspire to uphold. This process creates a ripple effect, spreading respect and integrity throughout the community. UP out.
Yeah,
Serena, which nights?
exactly.
I mean, you mean like the English nights or the French nights? The code of chivalry is very subjective. Um, but I think they all did share that same principle for Yeah, helping women in and out of carriages, opening doors. Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff we've gotten away from. That code, it goes back so far. I mean, yeah, you are right, Serena. The more advanced civilization of men today have gotten away from what guys walking around and not having the greatest access to soaps and the most sanitary conditions for bathrooms and wearing heavy metal sweaty armor all day.
Right.
They can't even do what these guys did with so little, and you guys so much.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do a simple thing like hold the door, pull the chair out for the woman. That's a good one. That's a real good one right there. That's a good one, Serena.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Always. Or when a woman comes to the table, if y'all already seated, the woman comes to the table, you stand up and they're like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
All right. Da, 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 da. Respect. This is- unless she's a beehive. But no, you still fake
Yeah.
it. No, 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 no. You still fake it. You still fake it because that leads by example.
Right.
Somebody else might see that at another table and be like, oh, man, gentleman. Oh, okay, maybe I should try that. And, that okay. Yeah, all right. Sorry, I gotta get this off of here.
Question number 3. What role does faith play in maintaining strong morals and values in your community?
Zero whatsoever. What do you mean faith? I mean faith in God, faith in humanity, faith in yourself, faith in uh, the unknown, or just straight generalization of faith. Because, like, okay, let me see if I can answer this one. Faith, I guess I have faith that people will stop and do the right thing, but they live such a life to where you expect them not to, and you just wait to see what happens. Um, so I guess faith would play a role in it in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. It's like I have faith that, example, this guy come barreling up behind me in another 18 wheeler. I got faith that he's not going to hit my trailer. I was like, yeah, you coming up pretty fast. You coming up pretty fast. Either be him or that four wheeler that decides, oh, they want to ride your bumper. Now, those people I kind of get because I did the same thing in my younger days. We call it drafting. Ooh, I'm in his wind tunnel. I'm saving gas. Well, you're also putting your life on the line. Um, because you can't see what's in front of me. So you, in turn, got to have faith in me that I'm going to suddenly stop and boom, you hit me. Um, shoot, this job is having faith in others all day, every day, every time we're out here. Hell, even sitting in this parking lot right now, I gotta have faith that whoever decides to park next to me ain't gonna tear my truck up. Um, Wow, so I guess faith does play a part in it every day. Well, let me read the question again. What role does faith play in maintaining strong morals and values in your community? Maintaining morals and values. So that's where the question gets a little tricky. Morals and values. I hope they value their job because I value my truck. And I hope you're just not morally an a-hole because maybe you don't care about your trailer and oh I hit your truck, oh my insurance company will take care of it. Swift, um they'll take care of it. So if I hit your truck it doesn't matter, so that would be immoral on their part since they're like them being self-insured, and then your trainer has the morals and it's like well if you scratch it or hit it don't worry about it, our insurance company will take it. care of it. That shouldn't be a moral, let's talk to you. But you having values of at least appreciating another driver's vehicle and valuing your track record, you would want to try not to hit said truck. Understand an accident is an accident, but when you've been fed this mindset and it stays there and you just carry that on through your career, we got a problem. I can't, if I know you or I see that track record and can somewhat stereotype you because your truck says SWIFT on the side, I can't have faith in you. And I can't really talk crap because the first truck I ever hit in my career was a Swift truck. Irony! It's just
Oh wow.
freaking irony. It all could have been avoided too. I was just young and dumb in my career. That was dumb.
Hmm.
I didn't want to wake the guy up because I had faith that I could swing my truck out of this parking spot where a guy illegally parked in front of me. I'm like, I got room, I got faith, I got faith. Faith ran out the window when I crushed his headlight with my trailer. So then my morals changed because I valued other drivers' trucks. My values became, look here, if you can't make it, you see you're not going to make it, just stop
Hmm.
and show some respect. Like, hey, man, or whoever's in your way, get them out the way. If you can't get them out the way, get in contact with whoever you need to get in contact with, whether they be the owners of the store, um, your company. Like, hey, man, I'm stuck in a bad spot. I'm banging on this guy's truck. Da 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 da. I can't wake him up. Da da da. I don't know what to do. I'm legitimately stuck. You know, um, that really goes into values. Value your stuff as well as somebody else's stuff. I mean, I guess that's a materialistic value, but still the same in a sense. Um, what was the question again? I think I made my point. What road is faith? But oh yeah, having faith. Yeah, never be afraid to doubt your faith. Never be afraid to have you doubt your faith. But if you want to get into it into a religious aspect, I could see where you're coming from of having faith in a God, a higher power. Um, as y'all know, I'm not exactly religious, but I don't knock anybody for being that way. And yeah, things they do can be related to the teachings that they have learned and study and practice and pray upon. Um, I see nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like George Michael said, we gotta have faith. And then Limp Bizkit, for some reason, came along and made that horrible cover.
Because you gotta have faith.
I don't know. I'll take Depeche Mode's version of it though. If you want to apply it to the sense of when you're stuck in a real world situation, reach out and touch faith. But don't ever be afraid to question it. There's too many faith positive songs. Anybody got a song that questions faith? I'm sure they exist. But yeah, okay, I'm done talking. I'm just kind of rambling now. You really got me thinking about this question because you got 3 key words in there: faith, morals, and what's the other one here?
Values.
The values. This is an interesting set of 3 words to put together. But they definitely can go hand in hand. They definitely. It's all on how to apply them. Yeah. We'll call it blind faith.
Yeah.
Well, you got blind faith, you got assured faith. it just depends on the situation of where faith is going to come in. It does having that faith in the situation of what I'm doing, does it conflict with my morals and values is another way to go at it. But I could probably talk about that for maybe 2 hours. That concept. I'm not gonna do it. That's a loaded question, man. That uh, mm.
Not, no, not yet, Brady. It will be up soon. The new channel. It will. I will make sure I share it with you. Yeah, I'm with Emery. Faith with me plays the biggest part, and this seeing like Buff didn't really go the religious aspect because he's not really religious, but with me, the Bible and of course Jesus talked a lot about morals and values. Now, did it talk about morals and values much in the community? Not in the sense of community that we have today. And to kind of piggyback on what Buff said earlier about having faith in humanity, some communities, like my small town that I live in, I have faith that my community, my small town, will have my back if I need it. But I'm not gonna really count on it because I'm on the road a lot, so they don't really know me. But the people that I do know, they are kind, courteous people. They are God-fearing people, and with my faith and reading the Bible and knowing that the Bible is so strong in morals and values, it plays a huge part because, like Emery said, and I said it earlier, I was a totally different person 2 years before my daughter was born, and I started to make that transition from being just an a-hole to a better person. It took 2 years, but it finally was concrete after my first daughter was born. Because it kind of changes you a little bit in your faith and your belief in God, because I'm like, you see that little child and you hold that child for the first time. I had never truly felt love until I was like, wow, this is a miracle from God. Me and this woman, we created this child together, and I felt so much
Serena,
love.
I
And
don't
then
know you.
yeah, what was that, Buff? Oh,
I don't. Serena's saying she's my cousin. I don't know you.
um, so I never felt so much love. I poured so much love into this child, and it changed me. So that's when it really hit. And I tried to go back into church, but for me, church is not for me. I'm sorry. Like, I am a Christian, but church is not for me. The church is not four walls and a roof.
Yes.
And there's going to be some people out there that disagree with me, and I actually, I'm going to go into kind of a preaching rant, I guess you could say.
Do it.
It saddens me because I see what is going on amongst Christians, and it hurts me because I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't think Jesus really would want us to be like this, where it's church against church. You've heard it. Many people have heard it, where the Catholics say they're the one true church, and Lutherans are saying they're the one true church, and Protestants are saying they're the one true church. Well, if you're the one true church, and all these other ones are, like, you're losing the sight of what the foundation was. The foundation was Jesus. You're a Christian, to the point where I've heard people say that Catholics are not Christians. And I'm like, what? Well, then who is that guy on the cross? Who is that in the church? Have you been to a Catholic church? Who is that guy on the cross? Is that not Jesus? And I started
They do the
going
signs
away
of the
from,
cross, right?
yeah, right. I started pulling away from the church because it was not for me. And the Bible talks about not being judgmental, but you have to kind of be judgmental to have discernment, because discernment is a type of judgment. And I'm looking at some of the people that I have seen in these churches that are like, oh, I love Jesus, praise Jesus, hallelujah. But then they walk by a guy outside of church. They walk by a guy sitting on the sidewalk with a cup and a sign that says, please help me. And they walk by and they get a job, you bum. But in the Bible, it talks about us doing things for the meek and the poor, but we're not doing that. So I'm like, what? So to me, I'm like, the church is an echo chamber. And we talk, and as conservatives, we talk about echo chambers. I don't want to be in a fully conservative echo chamber. I want to hear from the other side. Liberals have an echo chamber, right? And so even within the Christian community, the morals and values are deteriorating because everybody thinks they're right about it, when all paths that lead to Christ, doesn't matter which path you take, as long as it leads to Christ, it shouldn't matter. It's not the journey that you take, it's the destination, right? And same premise is,
Wait a minute.
You're never going to find one way to get to your house. Like, yeah, sure, one way may be shorter than the other. Another way may be a little bit longer. One may be even longer. Oh, I don't want to take that way. I want to take the short way. But as long as there's multiple directions to your house, that's the same thing with your faith. And I didn't mean to get all preachy, but this is something that's been bothering me for a very long time.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard that same statement in the church.
Right.
This building is not where you are required to come worship God.
Right.
God's not worried about what you're wearing. He lives in your heart.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, that's some of the realest stuff I'd ever heard. And this was like during my first year of college, I think. And I stopped going to church. And Mike hated it. And I've repeated verbatim what that dude said in front of that microphone at the church. And I was just like, well, I learned something that day. Oh, she didn't like that. But I was like, I worship him all.
Hey, Nicole. Hey,
Faith
Yeah,
serves
and
as the foundation for many communities
ahead.
when it comes to maintaining strong morals and values. It provides a clear set of principles and guidelines that help individuals distinguish between right and wrong. For many, faith acts as an anchor in times of uncertainty, ensuring that their decisions align with their beliefs. These principles often emphasize love, kindness, and respect for others, which are essential for building a strong moral framework. Faith reinforces accountability, not only to oneself but to a higher power. This sense of accountability motivates individuals to live a life of integrity. It creates an inner drive to uphold values even when no one is watching. This accountability strengthens character and encourages a commitment to doing what is right, even in challenging situations.
Mhm.
Faith unites communities by providing a shared sense of purpose and understanding. When individuals within a community share common beliefs, it creates a bond that fosters trust and cooperation. This unity allows communities to work together toward common goals while supporting each other in times of need. Shared faith helps maintain peace and harmony within diverse groups. Faith inspires individuals to serve others and prioritize the well-being of their neighbors. Acts of service, charity, and kindness are often rooted in the teachings of faith. These actions promote compassion and empathy within the community. A culture of service not only benefits those in need but also strengthens the moral fiber of the entire community. Faith provides a sense of hope and resilience during difficult times. Challenges and hardships often test the morals and values of individuals and communities. Faith offers comfort and encouragement, reminding people to stay true to their principles. This resilience helps communities navigate adversity while remaining grounded in their values. Faith plays a significant role in the upbringing of future generations. Families often rely on their faith to teach children the importance of honesty, respect, and compassion. These teachings shape the character of young people, ensuring that they grow up with a strong moral foundation. The lessons of faith are passed down, preserving the values that hold communities together. UP out.
Sweet. And Brady, I'm not saying though that all people that go to church are terrible. You know, if going to church makes you feel good, hey, I just I don't believe in going to church myself. You know, I have a relationship with Christ in my own way. You know, and if I'm wrong, yeah, I'm wrong. You know, but yeah, I mean, my favorite band, Casting Crowns, they did a song. It's called "If We Are the Body," and that kind of really opened up my eyes especially when they were talking about like, you know, the first verse was talking about like the young girls laughing at another girl sitting in the pew behind them, and then the second verse was talking about a traveler. I guess he's supposed to be like a homeless man, and they were talking about like tell the glances from the people were telling him that his chances are better out on the road, you know, and the churches are supposed to be welcoming, you know, and I've seen it where some churches are not very welcoming to outsiders. They kind of look at you, you know, like, who are you? Why are you here? Like, why aren't you all dressed up nice? Like, why are you in jeans and a t-shirt? Because I want to. Didn't the Bible say, "Come as you are"? Yeah,
Yes.
you know, unless you come like children, you know, that's what the Bible says. So, but I'm glad you feel good when you go to church and you love being with all the people. That's great. That's a good church. And by the way, I was Catholic.
Question number 4. How can we teach the younger generation the importance of unity and mutual respect in an increasingly divided world?
Mm. Well,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
me? Oh, okay.
I'm trying to adjust.
How can we teach younger generations importance the importance of unity and mutual respect in increasingly divided world. Um, well, with my own children, I know, and those that have kids know that we have to be the example for our kids. Our kids like to mimic us. Like you know, that's why, you know, I try not to curse a lot around my kids. Like if I'm in this truck alone, somebody cuts me off, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, f you, blah 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 blah," you know. And I try to hold myself from doing that in front of my kids, but sometimes it's hard. So, um, the way that you treat others, your children, and other children will notice this too. They will see that and they'll mimic it, and um, that's, you know, children's brains are like sponges, and the more information that they take in, like I've I was taught that a man is supposed to teach his son how to treat a woman, and a man is supposed to teach his daughter how a woman should be treated by a man. And that has carried with me, and um, that's how, you know, I try to treat, you know, show my children that example. And then, you know, I teach my kids that, you know, like, because their mom and me fight every now and then. You know, we argue, not like fight, but we argue. And I teach them that it's okay to have a little bit of conflict, but there's, it's not okay to go past a certain point, because, especially in a marriage, it's two hearts becoming one. And even though it's two hearts becoming one, that doesn't necessarily mean that the two opinions are going to become one. So someone, you know, you're going to have a different opinion than your spouse, you know, so there is going to be that conflict, just like, you know, on this stream there, our opinions are going to clash, but it's, you know, the communication and the understanding. So it's okay to teach them, hey, look, there's going to be a little conflict, there's going to be a little bit of argument, but you got to learn to control your anger. You got to learn to control your emotions. And in this divided world, it's really hard to control the emotions, because we all look at it and we wish, you know, it was like the past. I remember after 9/11, you know, how the country came together, right? I remember after Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Harvey, and uh, every single hurricane, every wildfire, everything. Americans come together, and it sickens me that it takes like a natural disaster or a man-made disaster for us to actually set aside our differences. But when I see that and I'm with my kids, and I don't really watch the news much, but if my kids see that, I say, that is how an American is. American does not see color. They don't see race. They don't see sex. They don't see political parties or anything like that. They see a American and an American and an American and an American, and we help each other out. Now, there are going to be differences in everybody. Like some people will have different hairstyles, and you might think that's kind of odd, but you have to look at them as an American. We are here. We all bleed the same color, and that's how I slowly teach my children. You know, like when your kids are growing up, yeah, your kids want to, you know, show you something, so they point. And I remember it, you know, my mom was like, "Oh, it's rude to point. Stop pointing." You know, why? Why did my mom teach me that it's rude to point? Well, because now you're singling out that person, you know, and you're making that person feel uncomfortable. Your kid doesn't know that. But if you only respond with "it's rude to point," your child is never going to understand why is it rude to point. If you say, hey, it's rude to point because now you are singling out that person and you're bringing too much attention because now everybody's looking at what you're pointing at, and they're going to get uncomfortable. They might get mad, you know. It's the little teachings that it's one thing to uh, explain to a child what it is than to just be like, no, don't do that. Like I know some parents they would say, when a child would say, why not? Because I said so. That's not an explanation to the child. That you got to remember that child is still a sponge. Their brain is still a sponge. They're taking in all this information and they're never going to learn. And a lot of times as adults, we get kind of complacent and lazy on teaching our children. That's why when I get on to my children, it's one thing to just, some people may disagree with, spankings, but hey, I was spanked as a child and I turned out fine. There's a difference between spanking and abusing your child. But when I do have to discipline my child, I afterwards, after they cry and everything and whatnot, I get down and I explain to them what they did wrong, why it was unacceptable, and ask them, are you going to do that again? And after I explain it to my children, they say they will never do it again. And 9 times out of 10, they'll never do it again. Sometimes that one time, though, you know. So they're learning from us. So we have to take the time to teach it. If we don't teach it, somebody else is going to teach it to our children, and it's probably going to be unacceptable to us. So that's all I have to say. Oh, wait. Jack's got something to say.
Teaching the younger generation the importance of unity and mutual respect begins at home. Parents and guardians play a vital role in modeling respectful behavior and creating an environment where unity is prioritized. Children absorb the attitudes and behaviors they see in their family. Demonstrating kindness, empathy, and cooperation within the household lays a strong foundation for these values to grow. Actions speak louder than words, and children who experience respect at home are more likely to practice it in the outside world. Schools are another powerful avenue for instilling these principles. Educators can integrate lessons on empathy, collaboration, and understanding diversity into their curricula. Group projects, open discussions, and exposure to different cultures and perspectives can help students understand the value of working together and respecting one another. Schools can create opportunities for young people to practice unity by fostering inclusive environments where differences are celebrated rather than feared. Community programs and extracurricular activities also provide a platform for teaching unity and respect. Youth sports, volunteer programs, and arts initiatives bring individuals from diverse backgrounds together to work toward common goals. Participation in these activities helps young people learn the importance of teamwork and cooperation. They discover firsthand that unity creates strength and that mutual respect is the foundation for success in any group effort. Media and technology can be used as tools to influence the younger generation positively. Many young people consume vast amounts of content online, and promoting stories of unity, collaboration, and understanding through social media can have a significant impact. Highlighting examples of individuals or groups who have overcome differences to achieve something great can inspire children and teenagers to embrace these values. Curating what children are exposed to can shape their understanding of what is acceptable and admirable. Religious and spiritual teachings often emphasize unity and respect as core values. Many faith traditions advocate for love, compassion, and harmony among people. Providing young people with access to these teachings, whether through a church, temple, mosque, or other spiritual setting, reinforces the importance of treating others with dignity. Faith-based communities can also organize activities that promote unity, such as service projects or interfaith events. Open communication is key to fostering these values. Creating a space where young people feel heard and valued encourages mutual respect. Discussing real-world examples of division and unity can help them process complex ideas and develop their own perspectives. Encouraging them to ask questions, express their feelings, and engage in dialogue nurtures a sense of understanding and appreciation for others' viewpoints. Leading by example is perhaps the most effective way to teach unity and respect. Adults must practice what they preach by treating others with kindness and fairness. Young people are quick to recognize hypocrisy, so consistency is essential. Whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or interactions with strangers, demonstrating respect and fostering unity will leave a lasting impression on the next generation. UP out.
I think you just got to introduce them to the ancient Jedi text. By that, I mean the things that are not accepted today. Like, I was watching an episode tonight of Police Squad. um, Show that the Leslie Nielsen Naked Gun movies came from. And it's simple stuff like that, like jokes and movies and certain media and stuff like that kids are constantly exposed to. Things you can't make today because someone please think of the children. Another great movie we can't make again from Blazing Saddles. But there was a joke in that where this girl wanted to go talk to her fiance, or I forget what it was. Yeah, let's go out and talk in the Japanese garden. And, it's just a garden. That's in a Japanese kind of feng shui style. Da 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 da. They go outside, and there's a bunch of Japanese people of different ages standing in pots. And it's just like we can't do that anymore because somebody's going to get offended. Too many people are going to lose their minds. That's where they divided us. This is like, no, you can't laugh at this anymore. Like, well, why not? Because it's racist. Well, I don't find it racist. So you're creating that division right there, and the younger generation is coming up and seeing this, and it's just like, well, which side should I be on? Did you find it funny? That's the side you need to be on. I think we need to introduce the younger generation to more stuff. I try to do it with my niece all the time. Introduce her to this older stuff that I came up with. I haven't I haven't shared a Richard Pryor album with her yet, but she is my kindred spirit. Um, because of her uncle, my brother. Because he was like me and him basically had the same personality. So I'm not worried about her, but I'm worried about like her friends, her stepsister, who are indoctrinated into this world of sensitivity and how do you say censorship. I was like, no, none of this does any good for the future. None of this does any good for the younger generation if you're just going to shelter them and make them little P words. No, it does no good whatsoever. And we all were unified back then. It's just like, oh, you might feel one way about it, say like a Blazing Saddles or a Richard Proudman album. And it's just like, oh my, oh. But everybody would agree. Yeah, that was good. That was good. It's a little strong for my taste, or I absolutely love it. there was that unity there. Now it's people don't want to show a certain thing because they think one way, and a lot of political aspects get thrown into it. Greatest example, Disney, and what they're doing with their Star Wars TV shows. It's let's just use the latest example, which nobody in this chat has probably watched, The Acolyte. Um, maybe you may have, but show's absolute crap. It's written like crap, and like Kathleen Kennedy. This is probably the greatest example I'm going to use. Star Wars came out in 1977. I was born in 1982, so I was right there for Return of the Jedi. It came out the next year, so I grew up on Star Wars. Star Wars was universally loved, except for by Trekkies or people that just didn't get it. But there's a community. There's a strong Star Wars community. And then we got the prequels, which are known as episode 1, 2, and 3. There was division there. I was like, okay, but it wasn't political. It wasn't political. It was just like, George Lucas made this kind of goofy and this and da. Then Disney acquired them. There was a unification amongst the community, and younger kids are coming in. I mean, those prequels, 1, 2, and 3, did have a target audience of a younger generation. While me and mine, that came out in, the first one came out in 99, so I'm like a senior in high school. So I'm kind of formulated on a good amount of my opinions. So there was division there. It's just like, oh, it was so goofy. Oh, why'd they do this? Why'd they do that? I was like, it wasn't too bad. Then all these years later, we got the Disney acquisition, which there was a unification with some doubt. There was unification that thinking that, well, Disney has been on a hot streak. This is back when Disney was doing good with the products they were putting out. And it's just like, well, Disney's going to dump some money into this. We're going to get some high tier peak Star Wars visually and just everything. And we didn't. We got a remake of the original movie, and then we got a backwards remake of the second movie, and then the third one was like, what the heck was that? Just somehow Palpatine's return. Now the sequels really divided a fan base. So with that division came Disney TV shows. And that's when things really get political. So I come back to the Acolyte, and especially with Kathleen Kennedy saying, "Oh, the Force is female." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know a mythical force you could not see or touch had a gender." And it's just politics, and the younger generation from the ones that grew up with the prequels, like they've had kids now, and now they gotta grow up with this, the Disney sequel trilogy and the TV shows, and they're watching all this vitriol in the media. And it's just like, and they've already been indoctrinated in some sort of fashion, unless their parents have stayed on top of it and say, no, that stuff doesn't exist. No, we watch 1 through 6. And just leave it at that. And maybe the holiday special when we feel like having a laugh. We stick with that. But they have no choice but to have this crap shoved down their throats because Disney wants to create a division and they want to indoctrinate the younger generation. It's up to the older generation to counteract that. It really is. Because you get the greatest arguments about just example, the Acolyte and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Oh, you didn't like this black character because they're a black woman. No, That's what they want you to believe. That's what they want to instill in your head. That's what they want to say, hey, this is why you see all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos made about how bad this show is. Oh, don't worry. That middle-aged white man didn't like a strong female black character. What about me? What about me? I crap on the show regularly. I haven't made a video about it yet, but I have been on some panels. I crap. I'm right with them. And it's not all middle. Hey, what about the women that hate it? What about the black women that hate your product that you claim is the reason why said middle-aged white man doesn't like it? You go, oh, he doesn't like black women. What? Tell me about the black woman that hates the show who did a video about it. Tell me about her. They're creating this division to keep the youth in some kind of mind grass, and it's up to the older generation to stop it. And if you want to go out as further of more division, that girl, I can't think of her name, but the star of the Acolyte, who's playing herself, she's playing twin sisters of herself, exactly the same. Just one screams a little bit more than the other one. Had enough nerve to make a diss track rap video to the fans because they didn't like the show. No, we didn't calling people racist. Like, no, the show was horribly written. You can't act. The greatest thing about that show, which is kind of universally loved, why you want to throw your division or your racist argument right out the window. One of the greatest things about that show is old boy. He plays a Jedi named Soul. In the show, he's the lead guy from the Netflix show Squid Game. This man learned how to speak English just to do this show, and he put the most work in. He was the best part of the show, and they kill him off unceremoniously. Spoiler alert! But don't bother watching this crap. But everybody loved him. So where's your hatred argument now? You're still trying to ignore that point of unity, something the youth can grab on, because we know these same youths, or as Joey Callow would say, the Utes would agree on is he was the best part of the show, and the worst was the main actress. I mean, that's not a racial thing. Stop creating division where it doesn't belong. It, it's up to us, the elders of the village, to inform the younglings about why this stuff is, where it came from, why they're doing it. It's all political, social science nonsense. It's creating a problem where it doesn't exist. That's how we combat it. You can show them the good stuff and see. That's why that circles back to what I'm saying. You show them the ancient Jedi text. Show them the first movie, how simple and structured it is, the hero's journey, and then show them the rise of Skywalker. And it's like, what the? Even that kid's gonna say that. What the? And it's just, that's dramatically different. I never want to see that again. I've seen kids on video saying this, watching this with their parents, and it's just like, Dad, what was going on? Dad's just like, Disney hates us. And I was like, yep, that's the best answer. That's the best answer. They're too busy trying to push agendas in everything instead of addressing what people want and need to hear. And it's like, no, this is what I want you to hear. And from there, I want you to feed it down to the ones younger than you. And when it gets into the school system, that's when we really got a problem, where it's branching off. And you got teachers in here lecturing a class of sixth graders about why Trump winning the election is such a tragic day in the hit. These kids didn't vote. Stop indoctrinating your damn division into these kids that can't even vote. But yeah, us of the days of old, reasonability and logical thought. We're gonna have to be the sayers. I say the sayers, but the I don't want to say soothsayers, but the spreaders of actuality, the spreaders of reality, for a lesser use of words. Don't believe the hype. And kids need to learn that phrase. They need to listen to some Public Enemy. Don't believe the hype. Rant over. All right.
Question number
Elvis.
5. What steps can families take to rebuild a foundation of morals and values in their households?
Move. Get out of this country. We can't take it back. Just get out of here. Just go. I don't even know where to go anymore. Yeah, the fight. What steps can families take to rebuild a foundation of morals and virtues? They gotta be the leaders. I mean, that's probably about as simple of an answer as give. The head of the households have to be the ones to stand by strong values and instill that, and not just blind strong values that they have about something. It's got to be something founded in some kind of truth. So it's going to take self-realization of the leaders of the household to understand what they're spreading to the young impressionable minds themselves. And I mean, I think it starts there, and that's kind of a tricky one because a lot of people are stuck in their beliefs. They don't want to listen to reason. They don't want to have a conversation. They just like, nope, this way. It's my way. No, my way, my way, my way. That's a tricky one. That's just really a tricky one. I guess be open to opinion. I mean, stand by your beliefs, but be willing to have a conversation. And that your thought process is going to be imprinted onto that younger generation if they're listening to you or they're on their phone. But it starts with the Chiefs, and then you spread that down to your Indian warriors. It starts up top. Yeah, yeah.
Families can start by establishing a consistent routine that prioritizes quality time together. This can include shared meals, family discussions, or game nights. Consistency fosters a sense of stability and trust, creating an environment where morals and values can be taught and reinforced naturally. Open communication is essential. Parents can encourage children to express their thoughts and feelings openly. This creates an atmosphere of understanding and respect, which serves as a foundation for teaching empathy, accountability, and honesty. Leading by example is one of the most powerful tools parents have. When parents demonstrate integrity, respect, and kindness in their own actions, children are more likely to emulate these behaviors. Actions often leave a stronger impression than words alone. Teaching children about consequences helps instill a sense of responsibility. Families can use real-life situations to show how actions, whether positive or negative, lead to outcomes. This reinforces the importance of making thoughtful decisions. Incorporating faith or spiritual practices can provide a strong moral compass. Families can engage in activities such as prayer, attending religious services, or reading scripture together. Spiritual teachings often emphasize virtues like compassion, humility, and forgiveness. Setting clear expectations and boundaries helps children understand what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Families can create household rules that align with their values and consistently enforce them, ensuring everyone understands the importance of accountability.
Bring back spanking.
Encouraging service to others instills a sense of community and empathy. Families can volunteer together, donate to causes they care about, or simply help neighbors in need. These acts of service teach the importance of kindness and generosity. Gratitude can be cultivated by encouraging family members to express thankfulness regularly. Families can create rituals like sharing something they are grateful for at the dinner table. Gratitude fosters positivity and helps individuals value what they have. Storytelling and sharing family history can be a powerful way to connect with values from the past. Families can recount stories of ancestors or historical figures who exemplified virtues like courage, perseverance, or humility. These stories inspire and remind younger generations of the importance of upholding these values. UP out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zach. You should have let me go before you did, man, because I pretty much had the same crap as you. But yeah, uh, I'll I'll dive deep into that. But one thing I think too is um, parents need to remove as much outside influence as possible because you know we have the automatic babysitter nowadays where uh children, yeah, see there you let me answer, baby. No, but um, too many kids today. Well, parents today, they have the automatic babysitter, which is here. Shut up. Here's the cell phone. Watch videos. Here's a tablet. Here's video games. Here's this. Here's that. Just sit there and be quiet. And there's so much on social media that is totally uh, not good for children. We have the social media influencers, right? And that's why I think like looking at everything that's going on, especially with like the LGBTQ plus whatever alphabet they want to add to it, right? I've watched and kind of logically put into perspective that I think that a lot of these kids, because there's no way that me personally, there's no way that a 5-year-old is going to come up to or my 8-year-old is going to come up to me and say, "Daddy, I'm a pansexual." I'm 40 years old. I don't even know what the hell that is. But my 8-year-old's going to come up to me and say they're pansexual. Why is that? Well, and just to clarify, my 8-year-old is not going to come up to me and say that. Why? Because I limit my 8 and 6-year-old daughters' screen time that they look at, and I monitor and make sure that they are not watching TikTok or YouTube channels or anything like that that will influence them in an area that I don't want them to explore. If they get older and they have questions about it, they can sit down with me and their mom and we can talk about it. But I honestly believe that it is a fad because now all of a sudden the LGBTQ plus is the thing to talk about. It's all the rage. I remember back in the day, a fad for us to have is, remember the Pogs? Remember those, Buff? When we had
Oh
the
yeah.
Pogs, we had to have those, and that was a good fad to have. Or bell bottom jeans, that was a fad to have. And unfortunately, with the rise of the social media and um, politics getting involved with it to where now like they're trying to push that if you call me by the wrong pronoun, I'm gonna do something about it, and you're gonna get locked up. Like, so removing a lot of the outside influence, especially, I don't watch the news. I hated it when I was a kid. My dad watched the news in front of me, but looking back at it, I'm seeing some stuff nowadays that I remember as a kid. They never showed on the news. They never showed any violence on the news, but that has changed now. They never showed any dead bodies on the news. That has changed now. Um, and so a lot of removing the outside influence. And I want to go back and piggyback on what Zach said earlier. Reading together, especially scripture. That's great. Reading scripture, reading books to your kids, like, and you can control, as a parent, you can control what books your children are exposed to. you know um, you can, as a parent, you can control what movies, like, Buff was earlier talking about Star Wars and Disney, and it doesn't hurt for you to actually watch a movie before your kids. I actually watched Buzz Lightyear before my kids did. And the reason why I said it was okay for them to watch is because, in the beginning, the news reports were saying, oh, they have a LGBT, they have a lesbian scene and blah, blah, blah. And there were people that had seen it, and they were saying, oh, you can't really tell. And then there was other people who were like,
Blink,
well, that shouldn't be in, you know and so
blink,
I
and you
watched
will
it.
miss it.
Yeah, blink and you will miss it.
Literally, blink, and
Look,
you'll. I missed it.
and
I was looking
and
for it.
the
I was like,
animation and the animation too, the way that they design the characters, a child is really not going to know, because the main woman, she has a buzz cut, so she looks more like a guy, and her partner has long hair, so it looks like a man kissing a woman. You know, and I was like, okay, it's so quick, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, you know what? They did that on purpose. They really did that on purpose, I believe, because they wanted to make
well,
this
of
movie
course.
such more of a big deal than it really was. So, controlling that stuff. And then, Zach, you talked about volunteering. Volunteer together. Let when I'm talking about volunteering, volunteer at a soup kitchen, to volunteer at the church, volunteer at these places, so that your children can actually see a different perspective, because your children are kind of in this bubble, right? And they don't see the world as it really is. But if you go and help at a soup kitchen, and you explain to your kids that these are the least fortunate in America, you know, and we're doing this because we don't want them to go hungry. Your kids are more willing to help others, but you have to lead by example. So you have to do that. And like Buff was saying, the Chiefs have to take charge and do that. And not only doing that, but like visit nursing homes. Old people love children, right? They love children. Um, and for some reason, children love old people. Is it the candy? I don't know what it is, but children love old people, and it lifts their spirits. And you know, you're going to expose them to the actual realities of life. You live, you do the right thing, whatever, and when your time comes, you're going to pass away. My children actually know a lot about death. And it's so cute. Like, my children are so empathetic, especially when like we went to a Target one time, and we were walking, and I didn't see it. My daughter saw it, and apparently there was a dead bird on the sidewalk, and she didn't know this bird at all. But it was the way she started bawling and caring for this bird. It it was like she lost a pet, but that's empathy that she had. And um like she doesn't cry anymore whenever I go hunting for a deer and I slaughter it, and when we kill our chickens for chicken, the in the beginning they did, but then after a while they understood why it was a necessity. It was for us to have nourishment. It was for us to survive. And but my children still appreciate the sacrifice that the deer made, the hog made, the turkey made, the chicken made, you know, and participating in that. Take your kids hunting, take your kids outside into the wilderness, you know, and let them appreciate the the outdoors and nature and how it is a circle of life. And Zach, you said, talk and visit with your kids. I love the idea that you said about sitting down at the dinner table and actually having a conversation. And uh, we see it all. We see it all in movies and TV shows where everybody's sitting around and the parents are trying to open up to their children. And they're like, "Hey, how was your day at school?" "Oh, it was fine." You know, um, but the value that that is creating when you actually engage and open up, you know, you will get your child to the point where if they're being bullied at school, they will feel comfortable enough to tell you, you know, and they know that mommy and daddy are going to take care of that situation. They are not alone. A lot of times, and I never really understood it in the beginning, but uh, you know, I've seen some teenagers that have taken their life, you know, and I never understood why. Because when I was a teenager, I had bullies at school, but it's a new age now, to the point where our kids don't deal with bullies just at school anymore. The rise of social media, now our kids are being harassed at home through social media. Yeah, exactly. And an active parent that is actively like and can pick up on the cues and be like, "Hey, honey, you didn't eat very much at dinner and you weren't very talkative. Normally you are. What's going on? You know, I'm here to help you." And when you build that relationship, your kid and you let your kids know that bullying isn't okay and you got their back and you're gonna uh, come hell or high water, you're gonna do whatever it takes to protect your children. They will open up to you. And and like the reason why I think a lot of those teenagers that I know in my life that took their life, because I've actually said, like, I can understand a veteran that suffers from PTSD. He's seen a lot of stuff. You know, he goes through a lot of hardship. Because they've got bills to pay, and they have a family to take care of, and everything, and everything just goes awry at that moment. Life is over. They can't deal with it anymore. Why does a 16-year-old have to feel like that? And they feel like that because of the home. That's the only answer I could come up with, is because they're dealing with all this stuff, and even the parents aren't empathetic towards their own children, that validate that kid's feelings. They'll validate your feelings, and you validate their feelings. And the kids, teenagers, they feel alone, and why? It's because a lot of times it's these parents, like I said, the phone, the iPad, the tablet, whatever it could be, it's an easy, uh, you know, babysitter, and it's like, "Hey, here, shut up, out of sight, out of mind. I'm not worried about you," you know. And we can't do that. And teaching the kids the morals. and values starts at home, and the morals of, hey, I love you, I care about you, I'm here for you, I'll protect you, I'm gonna be your superhero. Like my kid, my kid's mom tells me all the time that my daughters truly believe that I walk on water, and I've heard that other men say that they will never show their emotions to their kids. I did that one time, and my kids responded, and they gave me the biggest hug, and it made me cry even more. So be okay to cry in front of your kids. Let them know that emotions are okay. You know, it's okay to be angry. But what you do with that anger, if you go too far, that it's not okay. It's okay to be sad. Teach your sons this. Teach your daughters this. Because I have a friend that told me that his dad raised him not to be a bitch, not to be a little bitch. And I'm like, dude, that is terrible. You know, and there are parents out there like that. You know, but uh, this masculine man, you can be masculine and still share your feelings, share your emotions. I believe that, and I think it's terrible when I see these videos where a woman asks a man, "Hey, when you're at your lowest point, who do you call?" And the answer is no one. Guess what, brother? You need better friends. Is what you need. You need better friends. And that should be handed down to your son, to your daughters. It's okay to be emotional. It doesn't make you weak. It just makes you human. Humans have emotion, 100%. And like, we're not robots at all. You know, and I get it. There's men out there that they want to be strong, and I want to be strong, but sometimes you have to break down. You have to break down and let your family know that you're not okay. And it's a support system. That's the family support system right there. You're there for your spouse is there for you, you're there for your children are there for you. And it all starts at home, and that's how you teach your children morals and values. Go ahead, Zach.
Also, we need to stop feeding the beast, which is in my opinion are the Starbucks, and the big name brands, to help stop this outside influence.
Yeah. Yeah,
What does
shop
Starbucks
locally.
do to you?
Show me how
Yeah,
the doll where
don't
Starbucks touched you, Zach.
don't get me wrong. I got my problems with Starbucks. I think I kind of know what you mean there. I'm just happy we got a Tim Hortons like in my hometown.
Oh,
I'm like, what? I just hope it lasts. Because
well,
nobody,
my
nobody in this
my
ghetto
problem with
county knows what a
Starbucks
Tim
is their
Hortons is.
logo. My problem with Starbucks is their logo. They have
I
a
know what you're talking about.
half-naked mermaid with a spread eagle.
I know what you're talking about.
That's
Yeah.
not acceptable. That is not acceptable.
And can we just do small, medium, large, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But
Those
didn't they cover
extra.
that? They covered that in that movie Role Models, right? Remember when he was like, "What's a grande?" Grande means big.
Was that Paul Rudd?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the movie. I remember the scene when
Yeah.
they told him,
Yeah.
"Congratulations, you're dumb in like 3 languages or something." God, I
Yeah.
can't
Like,
think
would
of the
you
name of
like
that
a
movie.
grande? Yeah. Isn't that a large? No, it's kind of like a medium, and it's like, no, grande means large. Congratulations, you're an idiot in 3 languages.
Had I've had Starbucks once in my life, and it was like 2005, and just never again. I don't like the
Yeah, Paul
environment. I didn't
Rudd.
like their product. I didn't like the people that work there. They get a little snooty when you don't refer to them as baristas. And yeah, I can see how that can be a sense of division of class and creating this instability into a younger generation that can see something like that and
Mhm.
just be like, oh, well, I can have a mediocre job and demand respect to an unreasonable level. Like, no, you put
Yeah,
beans in a machine and touch a button. Shut up.
right. Can can we also
No.
talk about teaching our children the meaning of irony? Like
Ha.
I'm so sick and tired of seeing pictures of these people on a Dell laptop drinking Starbucks, wearing a Nike hat and some other name brands, and the stickers that they have on their Dell laptop is fight capitalism.
Yeah.
That's the
Well, you just,
definition of irony, you dumb dumb. If it wasn't for capitalism, you wouldn't have any of that stuff.
yeah, you fed it.
Yeah, there you go. I do that too. Well, I don't make it at home. Well, when I'm home, I do make it at home, but I do make it at the truck stop. And man, Love's Coffee is one of the best. Yeah. 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 Man, I've had some
Well, okay,
Pilot
let
and
me take that
Flying
back.
J's
Let me
coffee.
let
I'm
me
like,
take that back.
ugh.
Let me take that back. I am all about Pilot Flying J coffee. TA is
Uh,
crap, Petro.
yeah, TA
Um
is bad.
I haven't you know what? I only get fuel at Love's. I haven't had any Love's coffee since I came back out here. So
Well,
I guess I'm
if
about to
you
give it a
only
shot.
well,
I
you
don't know
have
if
the
it's changed.
rewards card, right? If you
Yeah.
make it to Diamond, you have refills on coffee and all drinks all day. If you get Diamond status on them, yeah,
I will pull that barcode up and I screenshotted it. And
yeah.
for like the past 2 weeks, I'll just go in and get a fresh cup. And on my way
Mhm.
out, I'll show it to the person at the fuel island. And they'll just play, oh, okay, all right, have a good one, da da da. They don't even check it. They haven't even checked. This has been across a couple states. I've got to
Oh,
stop
we
drinking all
didn't
this
hear it
soda.
here, ladies and gentlemen. He is not committing no crimes here on this live stream. Nope, nope.
Do
We're
not
not talking
follow
about
my.
it. Nope.
Hey,
I don't know what you heard.
ain't my fault they don't regulate their system.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Love's Points reward system. I'm TA Petro, strong rewards point system. But if
Yeah.
if I keep doing this, they're gonna somebody's gonna come to the realization and quote Jesse from Breaking Bad. You can't keep getting away with this. Hey,
Yeah.
stop me.
No,
Anyway,
man,
sorry.
I love going to the Loves because like this right here, I get the refill and I don't have to stop very often. Ever since I got this, I don't have to stop because this makes about 2.5 of my big mugs. Like, I don't know, that's like 2 cups, right? 2 cups of coffee right there. So I do I do about
but but
5 cups of coffee a day.
I
And
guess I will give that two loves in the sense of the topic of the conversation of like unity and community is Loves doesn't give a damn.
yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah, you're
no.
a trucker.
Love
Hey, get on out
yeah.
there. Hey, keep
Love is a
delivering.
good example of unity. I'll tell you what, because man, that his that their slogan is smiling what was it Smiling Faces, Friendly Places, I think it is. And when you walk in, they're like, "Hello, welcome to Love's," and they all have to do it, They're like, "Hello, welcome to Love's," and I'm like, "Oh, hey,"
You
And
know,
it was kind of funny because I was checking out at a cashier at one point, and one of the workers came in, like she was coming in for work, right? And they get so used to saying, as soon like they'll see it out their peripheral, and they're like, "Hello, welcome to." And the lady looked up right at that time and realized it was one of the workers there, and she goes, "Hello, welcome to work." It's funny.
I
And
will
I
give
just
them
laughed.
I will give them credit to that community unity aspect. This is the most times I've stopped at Love's in the short time I've been with this company more than I have when I was out on the road for like 6 years. I really have. I just always never stopped at Love's. But yes, they probably do have the friendliest workers in a major chain truck stop. And I think that also, because families are coming in there all the time, and they're seeing the way these people are interacting. Let's just say it at Loves, hey, welcome to Loves. Da, 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 the kids are saying that they might get a kick or a giggle out of it, like, hey, and
Yeah,
especially if the parent says, hey, back. You go
right.
into a pilot, it's just like you might get a high. You go on a
Yeah.
TA or Petro, is just like, what do you want?
Why are you here? you know.
I'm here for the points, not you.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. What you got, Zach?
Cough cough, I have a coffee sponsorship if you want good coffee. They are veteran owned and they give 9% of every order to other veterans.
Yeah. So get your coffee so I can get my free coffee.
There's a
Link is down
coffee
below.
machine in the truck.
What's wrong with you people? Get me some free coffee, yo. Free advertisement there, Zach. You see this? You see this? Help a veteran out. There you go. That's how we should do your video, Zach. Yeah. Yeah, we should do one where you're like, do it, and it's like, and it helps the veteran out, and then it cuts to me, and I'm like, yeah, order some coffee so I can get my coffee. I need my coffee.
I like how he did the cough, cough.
He's- yeah, I could have my mug. I could have my mug right here, and like, yeah, give me my coffee so I can have my coffee. I need my free coffee. That'd be so funny.
The hell's you got a coffee sponsorship? I should have a ice house sponsorship by now. Man, just driving me crazy. Well, that is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
your
this
coffee.
cold weather.
Any final words for tonight?
I enjoyed the stream, Zach. It was great. Zach's always got some hard questions. It really makes you think.
Let me see here.
There it is. There's the link right there. Hit that link, people, so Mayhem can get his coffee. Look at this. My mug is empty. I need my coffee. Selfish people.
No, you.
Where's your values and morals, people?
Talking about you.
Fill the coffee cup. Do it now.
Oh man, this has to be Layton. Parents out there. Now, I probably have no room to say this because I'm not a parent, but I have too many nieces and nephews I don't know what to do with. They're like my kids. The kids are my friends, my close ones anyway. They're like my kids. Don't be afraid to share the old school with them. Naturally, of course, as long as it's accepted by said parent. Um, if you're not a parent or if you're somebody in a position like me, don't be afraid to share this stuff. Um, Especially if you and that person meet on the same principle. It's the only way we're going to get it could be one of the only ways we could get the younger generation back into that frame of mind, sort of say thinking the way we are. Um, we live in reality. We want them to live in reality. Um, yeah, social media is crap. Um, there's not really anything we can do about that, except for, like Mayhem says, he monitors everything going on with his daughters. Never be afraid to do that. Kid gets mad. Oh, well, they get mad. We bring back spanking. Make spanking great again. What happened to that? But
You gotta be careful with that kind,
sit.
because there's some adults that like that buff.
You definitely need to sit down and relate with the younger generation. If you, like you were saying before, if you notice that change, yeah, it's like, hey, you want to talk? You want to talk about anything? Yeah, I noticed this. I noticed that. That's something great. I love how my niece will call me and talk to me about. She talks to me about everything because she knows she can come to me.
Hmm.
That relationship should be had between family like that. And even if it's just a friendly relationship, it was like, maybe you can't. How it used to be a community or the village, you know, um, kid probably was scared to tell their parents they, got a F on their math test. They can confide in a close adult friend, and you, as that adult friend, you give them the advice. The best thing they're gonna find out anyway. Just go ahead and rip that band-aid off. Maybe give them some advice along the way at the same time. Just study a little harder. This, da, 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 da. A community is very important. We're losing that.
Hmm.
I think we are losing that. But oh god, I'm trying to remember the lyrics of that song. Um, Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Um, it kind of boils down to those lyrics, in a sense. Not fully, just in a sense. But yeah, we do need to get community back in a lot of this.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
But we'll see.
yeah, we
We'll
do.
see what happens here by the end of the month, because things are about to get hectic and divided even further. But at least the late night shows will have something to do, and SNL and the Daily Show,
Yeah,
and they'll have content
well,
again.
yeah, and my final words
As we
are.
wrap up this
Oh,
episode of
go
Unique
ahead.
Prepping's community, I want to take a moment to reflect on the importance of everything we've discussed today. Rebuilding the foundation of morals and values within our households and communities isn't just an option, it's a necessity. The world around us may feel increasingly divided, but we have the power to create change starting right where we are. It begins with a commitment to doing the right thing, even when it's hard, and passing those lessons on to the next generation. Teaching respect, kindness, integrity, and faith starts at home. These are not just abstract ideals but tools that strengthen our relationships and guide us through life's challenges. Every conversation, every choice, Every moment spent teaching our children or supporting one another helps lay the groundwork for a better future. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Together, we can rebuild the kind of world we want. The beauty of values is that they transcend time. They are as relevant now as they were generations ago. The lessons of the past serve as a roadmap for how we can move forward, stronger and more united than ever. Whether it's prioritizing family time, showing gratitude, or simply leading by example, every action we take to instill morals and values makes a difference. It creates ripples that extend far beyond our own lives. Faith plays an essential role in this journey. Whether you turn to prayer, scripture, or moments of reflection, it serves as a constant reminder of the greater purpose in life. Faith gives us the strength to persevere, the courage to forgive, and the humility to admit when we're wrong. It binds us together as a community and gives us hope for the future. Let us always remember the guiding light that faith provides. Our communities need strong families, and strong families are built on a foundation of love, respect, and shared values. When we invest in our families, we invest in the future. It's about teaching our children the importance of standing firm in their beliefs, treating others with kindness, and striving to make the world a better place. It's about creating a legacy that will endure for generations. Every one of you has a role to play in this. Whether you're a parent, grandparent, sibling, or friend, your influence matters. The choices you make, the example you set, and the values you uphold can inspire others to do the same. Change doesn't happen overnight, but with patience, determination, and faith, it is always possible. Never underestimate the impact you can have on those around you. For those of you who have joined me on this journey, I want to say thank you.
I'm sorry, Heather.
Thank you for being part of this community, for your support, and for your willingness to engage in these important conversations. Together, we're making it happen. Your comments, your shares, and your involvement are what keep this mission alive and thriving. If you want to stay connected or find more resources, please visit the LinkTree link pinned to the top of the chat. There, you'll find everything related to unique prepping, from videos to social media platforms and exclusive content. And if you haven't already, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Your engagement means the world to me and helps this message reach even more people. I truly appreciate every one of you. This community wouldn't be what it is without your support and input. Let's continue to stand together, support one another, and work towards a brighter future. Keep sharing your thoughts and ideas, because your voice matters. Together, we are stronger, more united, and better prepared for whatever comes our way. I love you all. Let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not. Galatians 6 verse 9, KJV. Stay prepared, stay unique, and God bless.
Does that
Great
verse
words,
actually
Zach.
say "stay unique," or did you put that in there?
No, he put it in there. He's a little sneaky. He's a little sneaky, but
I
piggyback
see
off
what
of what
you did there.
piggyback what Zach said. If you want change, be the change, but don't get caught up in the distractions. Because remember the serenity prayer. It is not just for those that are in rehab. The serenity prayer says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. The distractions are those that we cannot change. Okay? We can change how we raise our kids, how we conduct our lives, and the people that we affect directly and indirectly. With that, love you guys. Good night.
Wow, right. Is that right, NorCal? 7 words and more comments trigger the algorithm. You know what?
Huh?
In a slight relation of final words, trigger the algorithm of the younger generation by saying more than 7 words to them. Especially when they need somebody to talk to, you know, you want to say something important to them. You want to reach their emotional core. Grab their attention with more than 7 words. Yeah.
Hey, Caldy. You have a good one too, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey community, Unique Prepping has partnered up with Hunter Brothers Coffee. It's a veteran-owned coffee company out of Pennsylvania. They sell across the world, and have light, medium, dark roasts, ground or whole beans, and even flavored coffee. If you like to order coffee, use my link in the description of this video or go to my LinkTree. At checkout you'll get a 9% discount. Order you some coffee and help support veterans in need and help get service dogs as well. Thank you, and let's help our veterans since they helped keep our country safe.
Making moves on your chess piece, always on the grind in this game called life. Gotta sharpen up the mind. Unique prepping, got the vision locked and loaded. Every challenge that arises, I'm determined, I'm devoted. Stay ready for the call and to life's demands, and we'll rise together. We'll take our stance. Unique prepping, it's more than a show. We're building foundations, we're ready to grow. Like, share, comment, let your voice be known. Together we can thrive, we're never alone. Every view, every like, your support is the fire that keeps me hyped. Comment, depth, and insight, share the vision wide. This community's growing and we'll ride this tide. So go ahead and subscribe, don't miss a beat. Tune in next time, let's make this complete. Unique prepping, it's more than a show. We're building foundations, we're ready to grow. Like, share, comment, let your voice be known. Together we can thrive, we're never alone. Pushing forward, let that fire ignite. See you next time, let's keep it bright. Like, share, comment. Prepping, it's more than a show. We're building foundations, we're ready to grow. Like, share, comment, let your voice be known. Together we can thrive, we're never alone. You pushing forward, let that fire ignite. See you next time, let's make this complete. Unique prepping, it's more than a show. We're building foundations, we're ready to grow. Like, share, comment, let your voice be known. Together we can thrive, we're never alone. Never alone. Never alone. Keep pushing forward, let that fire ignite. See you next time, let's keep it bright. Yeah. Let that fire ignite. See you next time, let's keep it bright.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Matthew 5 verse 9 KJV.